morning, everybody. Good morning, Known Victory Church. Welcome. If you're on the live stream for tuning in, thanks for checking us out. Thanks for watching. If you're in the lobby, we encourage you to come on in. Worship's going to start, and you guys just have a great time. Worship. Encourage you to stand, clap your hands, and sing, and we're going to have a great Sunday.
Out of the shadows, step out of the grave, break into the wild, and don't be afraid. Run into wide open spaces, grace is waiting for you. Dance like the weight has been lifted, grace is waiting. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Come out of the dark, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. Oh, the Spirit is here, let there be freedom. Let there be freedom. Bring all of the burdens, bring all of the scars. Come back to communion, come back to the start. Run into wide open spaces, grace is waiting for you. Dance like the weight has been lifted, grace is waiting. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Come out of the dark, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. Oh, the Spirit is here, let there be freedom, let there be freedom. Chains will fall, praise and shake at the sound of Jesus' name. Lives made whole, hearts awake at the sound of Jesus' name. Chains will fall, praise and shake at the sound of Jesus' name. Lives made whole, hearts awake at the sound of Jesus' name. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, there is freedom. Come out of the dark, just as you are, into the fullness of His love. For the Spirit is here, let there be freedom. Let there be freedom.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I'll worship Your holy name. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing Your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I'll worship Your holy name. You're rich in love and You're slow to anger. Your name is great and Your heart is kind. All Your goodness I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I'll worship Your holy name. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, still my soul will sing Your praise unending. 10,000 years and then forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I'll worship Your holy name. Yes, I'll worship Your holy name. Lord, I'll worship Your holy name. I've never been more loved than I am right now. Wasn't holding You up, so there's nothing I could do to let You down. It doesn't take a trophy to make You proud. I've never been more loved than I am right now.
Going through a storm, but I won't go down. I hear Your voice carried in the rhythm of the wind. Call me out.
You would cross an ocean
So I wouldn't drown. You've never been closer than You are
so clear what it's all about. So stay by my side till the sun goes down. Don't wanna forget how I feel right now. Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. And I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh, you are enough. Forever enough, always enough, more than enough. Forever enough, always enough, is more than enough. I'm already loved, I'm already chosen. I know who I am, I know what you've spoken. I'm already loved, more than I could imagine. That is enough. Oh, I'm already loved, I'm already chosen. I know who I am, I know what you've spoken. Oh, I'm already loved, more than I could imagine. That is enough. Oh, that is enough. Oh, that is enough. That is enough. Sing Jireh. Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. And I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh, you are enough. If he dresses the lilies with beauty and splendor, how much more does he love you? How much more will he clothe you? If he watches over every sparrow, how much more does he love you? How much more does he love you? If he dresses the lilies with beauty and splendor, how much more will he clothe you? How much more will he clothe you? If he watches over every sparrow, how much more does he love you? 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 How much more? Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. And I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh, you are enough. Sing Jireh. Jireh, you are enough. Jireh, you are enough. And I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh. caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet, caught up in this holy moment. Never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry I just sang another song. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm sorry when I've come with my agenda. I'm sorry when I forgot that you're enough. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. I just want you and nothing else, nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you, nothing else, nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you, nothing else, nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you, nothing else, nothing else, Jesus, nothing else will do. I just want you, nothing else, nothing else, nothing else will do. I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you.
good, our worship. Just encourage you guys, just want Jesus, just need him. He's all you need. No matter what you're going through, relationships, work, finances, just give it to him and he's all you need. Things are going to work out for you. Amen. So, God, we just thank you for being here. We thank you for your Holy Spirit that is here with us, God, and we trust you, God. We love you and we worship you, Lord, and we just thank you for your presence. We thank you for being here with us. We thank you for what you're gonna teach us, how you're gonna guide us after this service, and how we're gonna move forward from today, God. So we love you, God. We thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, church, for being here. Thank you, worship team. You guys are fantastic, as always. So good to be here. Amen. Isn't it good to be here? Right? Yeah? Just Harold. Harold's the only one happy to be here. Good to have you here, Harold. No, but it's good. Thank you online for watching, tuning in. Hope you're getting a blessing from home. I guess kids can be dismissed, and babies, there's someone running the nursery as well, so you can drop them off. But if you want to stay, obviously you're welcome to stay with your kids and kind of see what goes on back there. It's good stuff. If you are new here, if you're new online watching for the first time, we want to encourage you to text hello, and we'll give you to the number on the screen there. And we want the leadership team here, the pastor, will reach out to you, and you'll get a free coffee on us. All right? So easy as that. Any new faces? Anybody that just wants a free coffee? Text it, all right? It's easy. But it's a good way for us to connect with you, all right? And then on that, I just want to talk about, part of our church's, one of our strongest passions, our belief that we want to encourage people to, is to be generous, is to be giving, is to be loving. And I mean, that's not... There we go. I'm back. So I was talking about generosity and being giving, and I was reading a verse today, and it just kind of hit me. I'll read it to you. This is in Luke 12:33. This is from the NIV version. And I'm not telling you to do this, but I just tell you kind of what it meant to me. Sell your possessions and give to the poor. Provide purses for yourselves that will not wear out, a treasure in heaven that will never fail, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. So I think I've talked about this before. I've been guilty of this myself with I'll work really hard, I'll plan out my finances, I'll plan out like what I want and where I want to be in a certain life, and I'll kind of put giving to others, my tithes given to the church, and helping others kind of at the bottom, because I'm so focused on myself. And it's in those moments in the past is when my car's broken down, you hit a pothole in Edmonton and you need a new rim, like just obscure things. Life will hit you, and then it's all of a sudden like, oh, well, all that I was saving is just gone just like that. And that verse is speaking to me, saying that, you know what, if you are giving, if you're generous, you're gonna build a wallet that doesn't lose its money, because you're building your riches are in heaven, right? And that's what we got to build. That's the bank account we need to build, is the one in heaven. So, I just encourage you guys, be generous, be giving. And I'm not saying that just to tithe to the church, just outside of this too. I want to encourage you as a congregation, as a church family, give to friends, give to family, give to people in need that you don't know. And that's what's gonna build your riches in heaven. Amen. So I just want to encourage you. There's For our church, there's a couple ways to give that are really easy. I think they're going to put it up on the screen there. You can e-transfer, or you can pay online on the website, on the Known Victory website. So just look it up. It's very, very easy, very simple, and yeah, it goes a long way. And it not just for our church, for the missions we support, but for yourselves as well. Truly. So yeah, thanks again for being here. We'll get your attention up on the screen. We have a video for you to watch, and then we're gonna go on from that. So check it out.
Our city, I think, is so almost naive, maybe, and numb to the idea of exploitation in our city.
Exploitation happens, and it's not the women's fault, it's not their choice.
Next Step is such a unique agency in the way that we're able to connect with women in every part of their journey. Whether that be out in the community, whether that be in-day program and housing, or long-term care with working and setting them up for success down the road. We get to meet them in a family environment, welcoming them in with such open arms and loving them through thick and thin.
Our caseworkers walk alongside the women and helping them to get their identification, get on income support. It's really rebuilding those practical necessities in their life within the first few months.
We're really focused to provide and fill that gap of job training and opportunities for skill and even opportunities for work itself, where they don't have to be reliant on someone, but they actually get to be empowered through the workforce. Our social enterprise at Next Step Ministries is called For the Sparrows. We focus in screen printing goods, candle making, and coffee roasting.
It's important for the women to know that they are loved, that God is gracious despite everything that they've been through, and God is there with them every step of the way.
If we become aware of what's going on as a community, even in Calgary, then we can support these women together and find resources together. It's not just on Next Step to do this. It's not just on one church or one agency. It really takes the community as a whole to support these women. And so I think that if more of the public get to know about what's going on, then even together we can make more change.
Yeah, so this is a ministry in our church that we have supported for about the past year and a half or so. And it's something that we have done our very best to, just any way that we can. There's quite a few items around the church that have actually come directly from Next Step Ministries, from For the Sparrows, because we believe that as a church, it's our responsibility to steward every single dollar that comes in and make sure that it doesn't just impact the lives of the people in our church, but also it impacts the lives of people outside of the church too. And so this is one of the ministries that we have partnered with, and it's been definitely on our hearts for Pastor Dustin and myself for much longer than we've even been here. It hits very close to home with just even family members and things who have worked really hard for the program and believe in it deeply. And so I actually have a huge privilege this morning. We're going to be just getting to know their ministry a little bit deeper. And so I'm going to welcome George onto the stage. Let's give him a hand as he comes up.
Thank you, Beth.
Take a seat there.
Just a quick hello from everyone at Next Step Ministries, and to say thank you for inviting us up here and getting to know us a little bit more. We, Dustin was kidding a little bit earlier in our meeting that maybe we'll expand up to Calgary. We've actually had conversations with people up in Calgary, up in Edmonton, to look at the possibility of doing that. So, not out of the realm of possibilities.
We would absolutely love that. It's something that we definitely have the vision for here, and we believe that our church has the ability to get behind something like that and really push it forward and make it happen. So you just say the word, and we're here. All right, so before we go any further, I'll actually just get you to introduce yourself and just share a little bit about maybe how you became involved in Next Step Ministries and, what that looked like.
Sure. So my name's George McGregor. I've came to I'm the executive director. I came to Next Step before it was Next Step. I worked with the original founders, Phil and Jackie, when I was at another nonprofit, and they actually reported to me and asked me to be on their board. And there's a couple things that happen in my family, in my kids, particular, that really triggered me to really get involved in helping in this cause. And so it was important for me to be part of it. So for 10 years I was on the board as chairman. And then just over a year ago, Phil, the original founder, the original executive director, needed to take leave. He'd been at it for 10 years, and it was time for him to take time away and really consider what he wanted to do. During that time, he decided that it was time for him to give Next Step over to someone else to take it to its next step. And so he stepped down as the executive director, and the board asked me to take on the position of executive director. So that's how I came to Next Step.
That's awesome. So definitely been kind of in and around for much, much longer than even that you've been in an executive role. That's awesome. Okay, so what exactly does Next Step Ministries do?
So Next Step, loaded question.
Loaded.
So Next Step was started, like I said, probably about 12 years ago. And it started off as Phil and Jackie were pastors in the church, and they saw a need because they volunteered. They were very much community minded. They saw a need in the community, and through their volunteering time with Salvation Army, with Servants Anonymous, with other different agencies, and what they saw was a big gap in that women who were exploited, sexually exploited, or trafficked had nowhere to go. There was no agencies. There was one that they were helping with called Servants Anonymous, but there was very limited help for these ladies. So as a board at the time, we said, let's focus. Let's make that our vision. And so we came up with a mission. Our mission is to walk alongside women impacted by sexual exploitation as they break the cycle of addiction and abuse. Because really the only way they get through a lot of this is through addiction. And so that was the mission we set 12 years ago. And the way that we go about making that happen is we have 5 programs. One program called our outreach program. So this is a program that we've expanded a lot this year. We saw the need growing, and we have limited space within our day program. So the outreach program basically meet the women where they're at on the streets. We do it through connections through other agencies. We do it through walking the stroll, where the women are actually on the street. And we also have some of our groups that go into massage parlors, which is a big area where the women are exploited in that. So like the video said, they focus, the outreach team focuses on meeting the women who cannot come into our program just yet. They focus on meeting their immediate needs. So getting ID, because a lot of them, their IDs have been taken away. Finding doctors, many of them have not seen doctors since in years. And then providing food. We just give them food baskets and whatnot. our outreach, so prior to COVID, that's the easiest point of reference these days. Prior to COVID, our outreach was basically an intake process where they brought women into the program. But as we saw that there was way more need, our outreach is now actually providing programming for the women. So our outreach workers, we have 2 outreach workers. One of them has a caseload of 30 people that she meets with on a monthly basis. And the other one has a caseload of 10 people. So on a regular basis, we are meeting 40 women. And I mean, people ask, what are some of the things that they do for them? Well, I was just told of this on Thursday. One our outreach lead, she was working with the lady and she had just gotten the go-ahead. The lady she was being trafficked and kept in a cage when she was not being trafficked. She escaped, stole her trafficker's car, ran him over to get away, and then got arrested for running him over. And she was basically in jail. Our outreach worker was able to advocate for her with the police, with some lawyers that she has contacts with, and they've switched that all around. So now the trafficker is being pursued, and the young lady that was being trafficked is no longer charged. So those are the kind of things that our outreach team is doing. Some of the things that we don't even recognize that's going on in the city, right? And then we go from there. When they come in, they go into our day program, and they're assigned a caseworker. That's a classroom setting, 4 days a week. They have to be in the classrooms. There's 3 platforms, 3 phases to our day program. The first couple months is stabilization. That's where when they come into the program, some of them have been clean for about 5 days. Now, they've been their whole life, basically they've been using. So there's a lot of chaos still in their minds and in their lives for a couple months. So the first couple months stabilization, then they go into a growth period, and then in that growth period, once they're sober for about 3 months, they get introduced to a program called Genesis, which is it's an evidence-based relapse prevention program, but has very deep Christian guidelines and principles. So it's not just taking science, it's also taking the Christianity, making sure that that part of it is taken care of first, and then the counseling component of it kicks in. In there they do like food and nutrition, because most of them don't know what it means to cook, how to cook. They learn conflict management, boundaries, relationships. We do equine therapy, and they just get to know who they are. They find their identities. From there, they go, while they're in day program, they're in our housing. We have 2 houses that each woman in the program actually get a key to their room. Their rooms actually lock. And for many of them, this is the first time they have a place that they can call home. And they get to, like all of us, if we need to get away from the world, and once in a while would you like to go home and find peace in our space, they get to do that, whereas they've never really had that opportunity before. Both houses have a volunteer live-in who basically just help them do day-to-day life. And so it's a big it's a big responsibility for them, and we don't, because it's a volunteer position, often we overlook how important that role is, but they're really like their moms, and so it's a big responsibility. From there, once they've been in the day program for about 6 months, they can go into social enterprise, which is where For the Sparrow kicks in. And there they learn things like resume building. We do mock job interviews for them. We teach them how to do budgets. The first 4 weeks that they're in there, it's a classroom setting where they learn these things, and then it becomes hands-on, where they help roast the coffee, where they make the lip balm, where they learn how to silk screen t-shirts and apparel. And to help them move forward, they get a little bit of compensation for that, so for the hours they work. One of the big things that we've introduced this year, which has been really different and interesting, has been what we call Buy One, Give One, which is specific designs of t-shirts and our lip balm. So every time someone buys one, we give one to somebody on the street. So they recognize that they're helping in, sometimes people don't know how they can help, and that is one way, is that they could. And the lip balm is a little bit of an interesting story, because what we were finding, we used to give out business card type things, and what we were finding was that the traffickers would find them and just rip them up and not allow the women to keep them. And all it had on there was, need help, call this number, and it was our on-call number. With the lip balm, we put the phone number inside the lid, so everyone has lip balm, and so it's not unusual for them to have lip balm, but they have the number at their they can see the number all the time. And then the last area that we work with is in what we call follow care. So that's after graduation, after they've gone through the program. What we found is that even though they've gone through the program and they're prepared to go into the community is not necessarily ready for them to come into them. And even churches, unfortunately, either point them out or, don't welcome them. So we've created this follow care program, which allows women to build community within themselves. And so it's been really good. Part of the follow care is they help them find housing, they help them find employment. They continue doing training, so it's just basically helping them do day-to-day life. That's
awesome. Yeah, I'm learning a lot right now too, because I knew some of the things, but I didn't know all of them. But I think something that I'm taking away is that there's a lot of more depth to helping people that have been trafficked than just maybe giving them a way out or whatever. There has to be a lot more, and a lot of the things that I take for granted in my own life of just basic necessities are honestly not that accessible to them. Even I was raised knowing how to cook and how to keep a clean house and how to even build friendships, even though that was hard for me, but it wasn't as if I had things holding me back necessarily. And so I think that's beautiful, because I think that takes it a little further than we even think about, of these are things that are just ingrained into us from a very early age of, we're used to, we were raised in school, and so we know we have community around, or we're in church every week, and so we have people that we can turn to. And so it's, not even just thinking about the transition of finding that church community after you've gotten yourself out of that rut. That's huge. So, thank you so much for sharing. That was really amazing. One question I have is, what are some myths about human trafficking? What maybe some things that we have heard day to day that might not be true, or maybe they're just only partially true, or maybe go a little deeper than that?
Yeah. Let me give you a couple. The one that comes up quite often when we talk about this with with people we know or at churches, that this, the first question they ask us is, how many women do you bring from other countries to support? And it's like, no, this is going on in our city. 93% of the women being trafficked and sexually exploited in Canada are Canadians. And we're introduced, to it, or brought into it, or enticed into it. Now the age is about 12 years old, 12 and 13 years old. We had an incident at Stampede this year, and for those who don't know the Stampede, it's kind of like your Klondike days, but probably way better, given that I like cowboy stuff and everything. So, anyways, there was a group of 5 guys, and this was retold to us by one of the guys that works with us through another agency. But there was 5 guys that were approaching young girls at Stampede. They approached one girl, and the first thing they asked was, "How old is she?" And she told them she was 16, and they were nice, but they just let her go. They came up to 2 other young girls and they asked, and they said, 13 years old. And then they started trying to shower them with gifts and shower them with rides, and we'll buy you lunch, and this went on for a few minutes, and then the person that works with us intervened because he saw what was going on. And the guys had introduced themselves as 17-year-olds. It turns out they were 19 and 20-year-old. And what they were doing is they were recruiting young girls because there was a party going on down the street of businessmen who wanted young women. And this is happening, like I said, right in Calgary. And so that, again, that now puts onus on us because we've heard it, that we've got to do something about it. So next year we're going to be approaching Stampede to ask them if we can have people play the grounds. So that's one thing. The other big one is, you'll often hear this, the girls want to be there. And that's not true. You'll hear some of them say that, but what's happened is because they were introduced at it at such a young age, 12, 13 years old, by their parents, their parents trafficked them, and by the time they get to 20 and 21 years old, they now think this is the only thing they can do. And it's not until they're in programs that they really discover that, no, I didn't really want to do this. This is all I knew how to do. So yes, you may hear them say yes, but deep down inside it's because they've been traumatized to go that way. And then the other one is, this doesn't happen in our churches. We're Christian churches, and when I started looking into this a couple months ago, it actually floored me. Because what we're seeing and what we're hearing is pornography is basically the gateway to trafficking and to trafficking and sexual exploitation. And the research, and these are big research groups like Barna, have found that 60% of the men in our congregations are addicted to pornography. The fastest growing demographic is women. They're now at 20% of our church attendees who are addicted to pornography. 37% of pastors are addicted to pornography. And then this is a new one, and we're seeing that even within our organization is 35% of girls between 15 and 25 years old are selling or making money through the sale of their pictures or something on the internet. And again, we deal with women right now. Our outreach worker is working with a lawyer. She's a lawyer who can't break her trauma of being exploited, because the way she paid for school was that she thought she'd do escorting or she'd sell. It started off with she'd sell pictures of herself, and then she'd make a little bit more money if she did escorting, and then she got caught and trafficked. Got her education, but now is trying to break the trauma of that whole thing. And so our outreach worker is working with a lawyer, a vet, and an engineer. And so it's a little bit scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the reasons that we want to bring awareness of this into our church is because it's not just an outside thing, right? We have human beings that comprise our congregation, right? And human beings are, messy, and it's not something that is just outside the doors of our church. It's in here too, right? We have people that have struggles. We have people that have, been through a lot of traumatic events. And I think this is not to scare people in here at all. You were talking about Stampede. It just takes one person who can hear it and go, this is not right. This doesn't seem like, this seems really weird to me, and I need to say something, right? And so we believe that by having this conversation, we're actually empowering our congregation to open their ears and open their eyes and say, actually, I heard about this at church on Sunday. I know that this situation seems fishy, and I'm just going to start to ask questions. I'm just going to start to kind of lean into this just a little bit, because this doesn't seem great. Okay, and so even, as working with students for many years, we would start to educate them too on social media, saying, is there things on social media right now that either you or your friends are experiencing that are making you feel just a little bit weird? That's a huge red flag. Is there somebody that is, talking to you that you don't know? Is there, so these are things that we have been passionate about. This is our way of protecting our kids, protecting our families in our church, and even just giving you the ability to have an awareness of it in your own family and start to say, have I seen this go on in my family? Have I been through this perhaps? Is there things that I need to address with my siblings, with, even my parents? Do my parents know that this is something that happened to me? Do my leaders know? Is this, and kind of just getting a little bit ahead of it, because we believe that, that this is something that really is not okay in God's eyes, obviously, right? Slavery, exploitation of any kind. And we believe that we as a church have the ability in our communities to make a change, to say it ends with us. It stops here. We are going to be the ones to stand there and say, let's deal with this. Let's start asking some questions. And so, yeah, that was one of the reasons that we wanted you here today, is to just say, this is something that we value. We value human beings. We believe everybody has a purpose and a reason that they're here, even if there's things that have gone on before that tried to damage that value or tried to damage, and so yeah, we just wanted to say thank you so much for bringing that and speaking those things. And so one big question that we definitely needed to get to today is, can you share a story? Maybe don't use names or whatever, but we would love to hear a success story. We would love to hear about somebody that came into the program and just got the freedom they needed and are now kind of on the other side of that. Because we know that a lot of the time, the statistics are very high about people who get out and then end up going back because it's too scary and there's just so much holding them back. But is there any success stories that you can share with us today?
Sure. Let me give you the story of Roxanne. Not her real name, but she came to us 15 months ago. She had been at another agency. She had been trafficked. She was sexually exploited by a gang and trafficked by a gang. And then she was used by the gang to beat up drug dealers. She was a tough lady. When she came into our program, there was no fear. And so she was trying to break everything that she had experienced through her life. I would say she was late 30s, early 40s. So learned a long time ago, you don't ask a lady's ages. So, but she had grown up through probably what we would call the worst side of the foster system. There's good and there's bad in every situation. She grew up on the bad side. When she walked down the street, she told me a couple weeks ago, when she walked down the street, people crossed the street because she was just that mean. She's been with us, like I said, 15 months. She just is graduating. And as she's graduating, we started seeing an increase in defiance, an increase in wanting to get out, an increase in I'm not going to do this. I'm fighting it. She was trying to sabotage her own success. And it wasn't until we sat down with her and chatted with her and really asked her some pointed questions that pointed to she was scared for the first time in her life. Don't know if I'll do it, but probably won't make it. I every time I say this, I cry or I get weepy. So she experienced fear for the first time. She didn't like it, and so she was trying to sabotage all the work she had done for the last 15 months. We convinced her to sort of take time away from everything. And we found a place for her to go spend 5 days on her own, just listening. Because the one thing she had told us was that she could hear God, but she was defiant against him. And I said, 90% of the people in church don't hear God. You are privileged that you get to hear God, because she says she hears him almost audibly. And it's really neat to talk to this lady. Anyways, so she went away for 5 days. She said the first day when she got there, she was angry. She was mad at God, and she was asking him why he's not helping her, and why he's making her feel so bad, and why is he making her suffer, and why, until she heard him go, stop. I've had half a dozen people sit with you for the last 3 hours, talking you, helping you, working through this. I just had someone get in a car, drive you 3 hours to this retreat. I'm walking with you. The minute she heard that, she just burst out laughing and finally understood that she has beat this, and God was walking with her. She's starting college on Tuesday, and is taking a course that's going to help her to help others come out of addiction and exploitation. She's moving out tomorrow into her own place. So it's been really neat seeing her progress, and how, even though she had beat it, she was ready to give it all up because of the fear. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think just to encourage the people here, when you give to Next Step Ministries, when you do those things, they are working hard where they're at to impact the women in the program. But when we look at this case, right, we see somebody who graduates and then says, I'm going to go make an impact as well, right? So your support doesn't just stay with you. We'll never know how many more people it impacts, because these people are graduating from the program. These amazing women are graduating and saying, I can't stay here. I can't live with the knowledge of everything that I've been through and with the support that I have seen change my life and not go on and do the same thing. And so, we'll be praying for her that she can really embrace school and get what she needs in order to take it even further. Because somebody with that kind of background now has actually an amazing testimony to take and say, I know what you're going through. I went through it. I beat it. You can do it too. And that is so valuable when we're looking at the grand scheme of things. So when you give, when you support ministries, we actually don't know how far those things are going, because the people that you impact take it even further than that and impact others. And it's that ripple effect, right? And we don't know how far that's going to go. But we believe that God is working and is doing huge things just because of our one small step of saying, yes, I will do it. I will support. I will be generous, right? And so actually on that note, one question that we had is, when we're here, we sell For the Sparrows coffee in the coffee bar. We make all of our specialty drinks with it, with their espresso blend, their 24-mile blend. And then we also, all of the free drip coffee that we give out of the coffee bar is also made by and roasted by the women in this program. And so we also sell the bags too. But when we are back there and somebody comes up and buys a coffee, what does that do? What does that do for Next Step?
What it's allowed us to do is provide employment for the women. Again, a lot of these ladies, when they come out of sexual exploitation, they've been in there since often been in there since they've been young kids or teenagers, and don't have resumes. And so by buying the coffee, and coffee is one of the things we do, now the t-shirts and the lip balm, but it allows us to hire the women that are going through the program, as opposed to simply, having them do the work. We're actually paying them to do that work just like they would, and then they're able to learn how to budget, and they're able to put value to what they're doing. The other thing is the vision for the Sparrow is that it becomes self-sustaining and then make profits so that it gives back into the next step, the other programs, because we have a little bit of a strange model in that all the women that are in our program don't pay for it. We get $400 a month for the women that are in the houses, so that's 8 women. For payment of, they give us $400 a month for renting the room. Everything else is done through donations or grants. So having the opportunity to become self-sustaining and pay back into the organization really will really help that. But yeah, so.
Amazing. That's awesome. Okay, and then we have only a couple of questions left, but one of them I think that's really important to ask is what can we're sitting in this room, we're listening to what you're saying, we are probably I'm excited about it. I don't know about anybody else, but what can I do right now? Like right now, leaving out of this service, tomorrow, this week, what can I do to support Next Step Ministries?
Right now, keep buying coffee. That's
You heard him?
that's great. I mean, our finances, being a nonprofit, being a charitable organization, that's always one that bubbles up to the top. When COVID was there, it was really good. I mean, the government was giving money left, right, and center. They didn't care. COVID is done, and that's basically been shut down now. And so we're back at, trying to build our finances. My personal ask when I speak in churches. So one of the interesting things being a social services agency with the word ministry and having the cross in our logo makes it very difficult to do fundraising for. Corporations do not give to faith-based organizations, or very few do. Governments are leery to giving to faith-based organizations. So we rely a lot on churches. That said, we have a prayer team, and they're amazing how they've opened doors that other we just got, not a big one, but we just got a donation from Imperial Oil, just that it breaks the cycle. It breaks that cycle that, maybe corporations are starting to get the message that, so my heart is to be that Next Step becomes a liaison between social services and the church. Partnering with other social agencies has been a challenge because they're saying, you're a church, go away, right? And they're not recognizing the work that we do. So being that liaison, we've broken through a couple of agencies now that we're working with Alert, the police, the combined city police and RCMP. We're working with other police agencies who are starting to recognize the work we do. So continue being, allowing us to be a liaison between those agencies and the church. And getting involved as a church. That's staying involved as a church. Prayer. That's the big thing. We know where our strength comes from. We know where our next dollar comes from, and we rely on God day in and day out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that note, as we're wrapping up, what are your biggest needs that we can pray for? Next step for you, for the workers, whatever that looks like. How can we pray for you as a congregation?
The big one is for our team to not get discouraged. They're hearing horrific stories day in and day out. They see the effect of people being abused, being kept in cages, having the bottom of their feet burnt so that they can't run away. They hear these stories day in and day out. And so to just help, prayer so that the team doesn't get discouraged. Safety for our workers. One of my outreach workers yesterday was texting me at 6 a.m. saying, I have to go pick up. I don't know if you've got that up here yet, but we've started to get tent cities all over the place. And at 6 a.m., she was texting me saying, I'm just about to walk into a tent city to take someone out to bring her to detox. So safety for our workers, for our participants, so that when they come into the program, that their hearts get softened to hear the message of God. And to accept it and to see that that's where they'll get their healing. I tell my staff all the time, we could have the best counselors, we can have the best programs. All we can do is show them the path to Christ. And He will change them. He will change their minds. He will change, He will protect them from their addictions. And then, just continued wisdom on how to deal with day-to-day operations. I'll get in trouble for saying this, but I work with 17 type A women every day. There are challenges with that. So no, just wisdom on knowing, what our next steps are and how do we keep the programs solid? How do we keep Christ in the programs and not go down the slippery slopes of losing that message? And so, and finances.
Awesome. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to get all of us to stand. And I'm actually going to invite Pastor Dustin and Andrea up to the stage, if you wouldn't mind. And yeah, come on. You're important too.
Andrea and I got married in May, so.
So we got a couple of newlyweds over here. But yeah, what we're going to do is just as a congregation, we're just going to pray over George and Andrea and over Next Step Ministries and the enterprises that they do, because we do believe that they have the ability to impact a lot of lives and bring women out of really horrible situations that God doesn't want them in, that wasn't His design for them. So or you just want to stretch your hand if you're comfortable, or just in your heart, just agree with us. But God, we just want to thank you so much for the impact that you have, George and Andrea leading as they just really work with this program, with this enterprise that they have going on. We just thank you that you would be with them as they lead this. You would be their strength. You would be their wisdom. You would give them so many, new ideas of how to reach the people that they need to reach, so that they would be given the words to speak in every situation, in moments like this, when they're in churches, when they're sharing what's going on, that you would give them, the words to just make an impact. We just thank you that you have your hand over this program. that you are just bringing the right women to them, that you would give them the capacity that they need in order to reach where they need to reach. God, you see every need that this program has, every person that they need to impact. And we just thank you that you are just coordinating things so well, that the gears would just run smoothly, that there wouldn't be any lack, that they would be met with complete open arms wherever they go, that they would be able to wiggle their way into the hearts of huge corporations here in Alberta and Canada, that you would open doors for them to walk through in order to get the support that they need, that they would just be blown away in the next year of the amazing things that you're doing, that you're coordinating to get them into the places that they need to be. And so we just actually thank you for the participants that are there right now, the women that are there right now, and that you are with them and you're walking this journey with them. And we also just thank you for the participants that are going to come to them in the future, God. And we just pray that you would allow them to, even right now, be hearing from you, to be questioning their situations, to be questioning the things that they have been handed, and also just expecting more, God, expecting better for themselves, and wanting to look to chase after that, God. And we just thank you that you're already, like George said, softening their hearts, getting them ready to hear from you, getting ready to hear from the volunteers and the staff of this program, to receive the love that you have for them through people, through this program, and that they would just begin to feel that change already, that they would be drawn, and that you would also just protect them as they're living their lives right now. God, we know that they might be in some really hard situations right now, and we just ask that you would be protecting them as they're going about their days, that no weapon formed against them would prosper, because they are yours already. Even if they don't know it, they are already yours. They are already on their path to meeting you, God. And so we just thank you just for the staff and for the volunteers, that you set your protection over them as they walk into some of these really dark places, as they walk into the places that you need to bring your light into. We just thank you that you would be with them, that you would be protecting them, that they wouldn't have any fear, that they wouldn't have any pushback against them, God, but that they would be able to just really approach these situations with boldness and with bravery and courage, saying, the Holy Spirit is with me. I don't have to worry. He has designed this already so that there is a way through here, and that they would just be able to walk in that. And so we just thank you as a whole for this organization. We just thank you for the impact that they've already had. And we just pray even more over them, God, that they would, exceed their planned income this year, God, that they would blow, over that they would have more support, they would have more people wanting to volunteer, more people wanting to get involved, and that you would just meet every single one of their needs every day. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, let's give them a hand as they go down. Yeah, we just wanted to say thank you so much. George and Andrea are from Calgary, so they came up yesterday just to share with us, and it means so much to us that you guys spent so much time to come up here and even just join with us here. And so if you guys notice, in the foyer there is a table set up for Next Step Ministries. They are selling some of their stuff. Check it out. It goes a long way. We know that when you're buying a t-shirt or a bag of coffee, it is not just affecting their ministry, it's affecting somebody else's life who packed that bag for you, who pressed that t-shirt for you. And I will mention that our known church shirts actually came from Next Step Ministries as well. They were sourced, so they were printed by women in need. They are printed by women who are working hard to do better for themselves, to get on the right path. And so we want to encourage you, go check out the table, be generous. But quickly before we dismiss, we actually have a really cool event coming up that I'm very excited about. On November 19th at 6 p.m. here at the church, we're actually hosting our very first couples cafe. And so if you don't know what that is, you're a little weirded out by the name. What it is it's just basically a provided date night for you and your significant other. Maybe you're you're newly dating, or maybe you've been married for a long, long time. That doesn't matter. Come on out. There's free childcare. And so that's not an excuse that you can use. I know. I didn't try, but I could have tried. There's going to be childcare here. And so if you guys want to register for that, it's an investment. Honestly, it's a free event, but we believe that when you're coming out, you're investing in your relationship and saying, I want to be equipped. And this is going to be guest spoken by Pastors Dave and Clarice Myers, who were Dustin and my mentors when we were walking through our first early years of marriage and everything, and they've made a huge impact on us. And so we wanted to give you an opportunity to come. Invite your friends too. If you have friends who are also couples, maybe they've had just had kids, or they just need some time to reconnect as a couple after the last couple of years, invite them out. It's going to be amazing. And again, it's free. So what have you got to lose? The best way to sign up, if you need to, the best way to sign up is going to our social media. So Facebook, Instagram. There's a link for our Eventbrite, and you can purchase your tickets there. Reserve your tickets there, but also we need you to reserve childcare tickets as well, so that we can kind of get a grasp on how many kids we're really taking care of and how much of a zoo it's going to be and how many people we need. So definitely go do that. If you're unable to get onto social media, you can always come visit me in the coffee bar, and I will definitely help you out and we'll get you registered. So don't let that be a roadblock. If you need prayer for anything, as everybody is leaving this morning, is leaving the auditorium, please come up, come join us. Pastor Dustin's going to be at the front here. He would love to stand with you and believe for what you are believing for, and just support you in that way. But for the rest of you, we are so grateful that you came out this morning. It's been a pleasure to just have, community with you and get to know you a little more. And we will see you next week, Sunday.